the #1 long-form writer that helps SEOs outrank competition at the click of a button using real-time research and NLP. Start ranking content today with content@scale.ai.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Hopefully you had good lunch, and there's a place called Ala's, A-L-A, that's up here. They have the best chicken burger, I can tell you. I've actually got one yesterday and today. So, me being from the United States, we call them chicken sandwiches, Chick-fil-A and everything, and this obviously beats a lot of them out there. So, let's look at links. As Claire said, I've been doing SEO before we even need links. And I can tell you actually that ranking without links is really, really hard. And this is actually Chris Kemper's Link Research Tools, little Gary Eas caricature there. And yes, I mean, links, we gotta have links. So let's analyze them and look and see, okay, what's a good link and bad link? I mean, so what is a good link? What's a bad link? You know, it's about relevance, authority, high quality links and so forth. In 2023, actually, it's not necessarily good versus bad. I mean, we actually need to concentrate on the links that count and the links that are the same thing, not ignored. In 2023, please go, if you have a disavow file out there, go to Google Search Console. You can actually do that right now and go delete it, because we do not need to disavow links anymore. Only if you have a manual penalty, manual action from Google because of the link stuff that you've been doing, then you may need to disavow. And pray to the Google gods that they'll remove the penalty in a reasonable amount of time. But please, yeah, we don't need to disavow. Links that count is about being relevant. The page that links to you is not necessarily the site, because you could be on a news website and have a link, and if that article is essentially about your topic, about your site, or mentions you, that probably is going to be a good link because it's relevant. Links that count are prominent on the page. Here's an example link right here. Everybody's going to see it. The more prominent, the better. And then links in context. These links that are, in this paragraph of text. Okay, here's one, paid social media ads, pay-per-click or paid social media ads. It's the link, such as Facebook ads. That's probably going to count. The same thing as, have the right content on your website. Sure, I mean, those links are going to count. Those links are actually relevant. They were placed by InLinks, and I use InLinks on my site. As long as it's not, the link is going to count if it's relevant. If it's not a no-follow, if it's not sponsored, or not on a sponsored post, etc. Links that are ignored. They're, oh my God, they're off-topic links. They're not relevant at all. Google's probably going to understand and not count those links. Links that are ignored, traditionally, I mean, if somebody goes out and creates 1 million links, 500,000 links to your e-commerce store. You don't have, so many people come to me and say, my gosh, how, they're doing negative SEO and by all these links. And frankly, Google really actually understands that an adult link is an adult link. And if somebody sends a massive adult links to your site, you don't really have to worry about that, because in most cases, they're trying to give you a couple bad links, but then they'll give you 350,000 other links that to kind of confuse you. So it takes your time to go through all those links, et cetera. But Google knows. I mean, they've known for years, and that's a hot topic I could go on for hours. So links, that are buried, buried in the page. Yeah, that's a bad joke. SEO is not dead. So basically, links that are ignored, if the page is not crawled often, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, if Google has not crawled the page, they can't see the link, et cetera. So here's a link scheme. Link schemes have been around for years. Here's an interesting one that I come across that actually, unfortunately, still works. It's a small business, town and country roofing, construction, and windows. And if you look at their footer right here, we all have a copyright symbol, okay? Or we say, town and country, copyright 2023, et cetera, et cetera. The C is a link to this resource page. The O is a link to resource pages 2. The P in copyright, so you have, all those letters as a one-letter link to these internal pages. And this link scheme, basically, it's called one-way links. It's been around since 1998, and fortunately, it still works. It's site A links to site B, but then B links to C, and C links to A, and there's no trading of links. It's all of this link scheme out there, and unfortunately, Google still can see it. So it's, links from link networks. I'm going to talk about, let's get into really some specifics here. Here's 3 examples I'm going to show you. Here's a natural link profile here at the top. And there's one link right here that points to this site in the, that we're analyzing. And if we start to look at tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 links, we're going to see this massive link network. I mean, are you going to want to get a link from, this little site right here that's part of a huge link network? You're probably not going to. Let's look at very specifically this domain here. Okay, there's the link basically in the middle, and this is a visualization link graph from Majestic. And here's one link right here, actually 2. I see one here and one here that link. There's 2 links. Okay, if you look at most SEO tools, you're going to see, okay, I have 2 links, or I can get 2 links. But we would never know if we don't look at the tiered links. If we don't look at tier 2, tier 3, who is linking to us and who's linking to that site that then is linking to us. Here's another example of a completely unnatural links. Here's a bunch of domains, but these domains here's the site we're analyzing, but all these domains here, these sites, there's a link from that domain and that site to our site, but that domain itself doesn't have any links. So somebody here has made, 30, 40, 50 domain links, just one-way links that don't mean anything. These blue, I recognize those come up because they're very relevant and highly relevant to the site. So essentially, there's in this network of sites and all the network, there's essentially 4 relevant links out of 74 domains linking. And the site has 98 links. There's 4, essentially, some of them are indirect. So basically, there's probably about 2 links that Google will ignore. Here's an interesting one. This to me, it looks like a bug. Here's the main site. Here's the little tentacles, or what do you call them? The little feelers here. And then this whole body, that's one massive link network with about 20 or 30 links. So most sites you're not going to actually see unless you go beyond tier 2. You're not going to see all this stuff. Here's another one that's interesting. I'm going to point out and why it's interesting. It's because basically there's 3 pretty big one huge link network pointing. Here's one in the, here's the target site. Of all of these links, there's one relevant link, okay, pointed out, 185 domains. But when you go to tier 2, you see these link networks, okay? And that's, this actually is another example. Google can see them, and I know they can see them. I mean, the problem is that at the end of the day, Google may not care that there's these massive link networks. That site may rank really well. They may not see them if they're really done right. And some are there and some are ignored. I mean, it's very frustrating because we'll see this crap and this rubbish stuff being done, and the site's ranking really well, and Google doesn't really do anything about it. It's the same old. So here's that same link network. Here's an example of all the tiered links: tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 links of a link profile. Here's SEMrush's version of the same. So that so you actually are going to probably see a little bit more detail with Majestic. Remember this little graph here. That's Majestic's version, and if you that's the same site, totalhomecareaugusta.com. Here's network graph. Here's the tier 2 links. If you just look at tier 2, unfortunately, with SEMrush or SEMrush, you're not going to see these networks. And you say, oh, that's if I want to get a link in Total Home Care Augusta, it's great. So link networks, they're not necessarily just networks. They're not, not these, where it's not this mess of a bee's nest here. It is, where one site links to another and to another. Link networks actually can be networks that they don't link to each other. So it's just like somebody owns maybe 10,000 sites or 5,000 sites or 100 sites, and it's part of kind of their network of sites. They purposely don't link the sites together. And SEO Nitro is one of these linking systems. I did some research. I tried to find see if there's any patents on links or anything related to links. There's one patent, and it's an interesting one. It's 9843563. It doesn't really matter, but it's a link management system in the process for dynamically updating links, which would be pretty cool because what if you had a dashboard that you could literally see all the anchor text of the sites, see all the links, and say, oh, I need to change this, I need to tweak this anchor text so it's a little bit more branded anchor text, or these percentages and so forth, and adjust, okay, based on, competitors that are ranking in other link profiles that you see. That would be, really cool. There's actually a link management system. You can use it on your own sites, or you can use it on, this network of sites that this company sells. But you could actually copy a link profile from your competitor and look at the percentages and say, okay, well, 32% are branded text, 27 are not, are non-branded. Of the non-branded, we have, this particular keyword is 3% of their anchor text and so forth. And that actually, you can do that manually, and that's how I have recommended, like looking at a good link profile for a competitor that's ranking really well, and seeing, how much branded, how much non-branded, et cetera, and kind of doing that. There's options like that. So the point of, my whole point is, there's extremely, when we start to see and look at anything beyond tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, et cetera, this is an example of brightonSEO.com. Here's all the tier 1 links. If you went to some link tools, you see, okay, here's all the sites that link to me. Well, here's tier 2. If we suddenly bring in tier 2 and see not only just the sites that link directly to brightonSEO.com, but we see, manchesterdigital.com links to some other site that then links to brightonSEO.com. Yeah, we're going to have some, we're going to have some, but Screaming Frog, they link to another site that then actually links. So Screaming Frog doesn't appear to link to Brighton SEO directly, but Screaming Frog is passing some kind of juice or PageRank or whatever you want to call it. They're passing it through another site that then is linking over to Brighton SEO. So search engines, understand. I mean, we bring in AI and all this, these buzzwords. They understand content better. They understand links better. They know the difference between natural contextual links and unnatural and non-contextual links. In my opinion, it's basically that if it's not relevant link, they just ignore it. And sure, they may report it in Google Search Console, it may be reported by other tools. So it's, we have to kind of look and see, okay, what are the natural links and what are the actual contextual links and ones that they probably will be counting. And the best links, are on-topic links. I mean, when I'm doing linking building now, I really actually don't care what the domain authority, domain rating, trust flow, whatever of that page is, as long as it is a relevant and on-topic link, it's going to help my rankings. So we can go and dig, into tropical trust flow. If you want to put numbers on that, we can see that, here's Brighton SEO's profile. And these, computers, internet searching, those are the links that are going to count. And those are the good ones, business marketing, advertising, et cetera. We get down here, arts and illustration. They're probably not going to count those 8 links. Here's business opportunities, recreation and travel. I would probably, unless, because it's an event site, it would be back, but if it's a digital marketing agency and you have a bunch of recreation and travel sites linking, unless there's kind of your clients, they're probably ignoring those 150 links. And so some of these off-topic links, this is an opportunity to basically go in and dig in and, okay, what are the links? And we just, ask them to remove them, or if we have control, we may, remove them because they're just not helping. I don't think they're hurting necessarily, but they would if there's more. In some domains, you might look and see if recreation and travel here is way towards the top, and there's a bunch of, it's most of the links, you're probably going to want to get that removed. So if, just overall, give me a domain, brightonSEO.com. I look at, I go with the overview. Here's the link graph. I can see maybe some potential issues with the link network here in this really dark area, but that would cause me to kind of dig in and look and see what is that. And so I look at trust flow, domain authority, whatever those numbers are. It's not too concerning unless it's a zero at trust and the site has 0 trust. Yeah, sure, it could be an issue. Here's a good example of a site that was cleaned up, okay? And when I took over this site, Ramtech Building Systems, they make modular buildings. And this was the first, they had hundreds and hundreds of links on gaming and role-playing websites. 389 links pointing with modular buildings as that's their biggest keyword, okay? And you know what? They never, in the top 50 results, they did not show up for modular buildings. And that, and here's another one, exact match anchor text. They want to show up 367 links with modular construction, and a modular building, etc. So these are all games and role-playing sites. 900 links, 1,000 links. Here's after I cleaned it up. Actually, we ended up, with empty anchor text is actually the image links. Here's the branded phrase, And here's, just a generic click here, go now, website sort of thing. And what I did is I actually was able to get, get it down to 16 links. All the junk I got rid of, the good games and role playing, but actually worked in. The company name is Ramtech Building Systems, but I kind of use some branded and non-branded phrase. So they rank now like, in the top 5 for modular buildings, because like I said, it was a disaster before, and that's over optimization of your anchor text. And here it's cleaned up. So, let's look at marketing.com. So marketing.com is a domain name that sold for $2.1 million about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And that news came out, and I looked at the link profile, and oh my God, that domain is burned to the ground by some search engine spammer. I mean, it goes on and on with the anchor text of Jim, Linda, Frank, Jimmy, and that's those. When you see those names, that's a sign of somebody has burned the domain. And there's literally like millions of links, but it goes on. There's all these names, and just seeing that is okay. It's a shame, because they're unless they clean that up, they're probably not going to rank very well. And it's marketing.com is such a great domain. So here's an example of another burned domain. I went on GoDaddy auctions last night, okay, and expired domain auctions, and I said, let me see if I can find, like, a bunch of people are bidding on this domain, balancechicago.com. It was some kind of health and fitness site or something like that. I didn't look at the site, but there's like 23 bids, and it's like $3,000 with a day left, right? And so many people. You start to look at the anchor text. These are the anchor text. Okay, best Cialis prices online, CBD oil calming effects. Here's looks like a page that, I don't know what it is. It probably was not on the original site. 9SNCEK, mail, e-hook, how to most something or other. I mean, that's clearly a burned domain. However, the domain authority looks really good, right? You have to look at the anchor text and see if it's burned. And again, here's the same burned domain, and again, Jim, John, Bill, Frank. I mean, yeah, definitely with a lot of links. So check for 301 redirects. So basically, we know that we have 2 domains, and if you redirect one to the other, basically those elements are going to combine into one, So, so if you have a trust flow of, 26 on one, and you redirect it to another site that's that's 28, the trust and the flow and even the penalties and everything is going to combine. Well, if you look at a domain, and yeah, sure, it maybe has a 30 or something trust flow, or a great domain authority, but this domain, number one website promotion and internet marketing services, is linking, and I use this as a test bed to my billhartzer.net, kind of burn that domain down. And because it's a .net, but it's testing. So basically, if I remove that 301 redirect, all the trust flow and domain authority and everything is going to instantly go away. So you got to kind of check for those redirects. This is another domain. Look at the historic links. These are the historic links are the links that we're seeing in the past 15 years. So this site has had over the past 15 years 31,000 links, but nowadays fresh links are the last 90 days of links that have been seen. Now it has 216. Why you got to figure out what happened there. Why all of a sudden, like, this site has lost so many links. That's going to be a red flag. So we basically want to replicate a link profile. So if you have a brand new, fresh site, you're probably not going to, it's not going to rank unless you actually end up having very close to the number of links that a competitor has. You want to rank for a keyword. All the competitors on the top 10 have, let's say, 1,000 links. You have a brand new site. You're going to need 1,000 links to start competing. You could, use expired domains. You could go and find a domain that's not burned, that's in your niche and so forth, that doesn't have a trademark, it doesn't have any, it's not a former company, and redirect it. You want to redirect it to an internal page in your site. Never redirect an expired domain to the home page of your site. Google will see it as a SOT 404 error and won't count it. You want to always, if you're going to play in this black hat, gray hat area, you're going to want to redirect to an internal page. Basically, you want to duplicate profiles. You could do it manually. You could see, branded anchor text versus, the non-branded, et cetera. You want to be in there, close to what your competitors have. Look at the percentage of anchor text. Kind of do the counts. If there's 1,000 links and how many links have this anchor text and so forth. You kind of want to, look at non-branded versus branded anchor text. Look at the percentages of, of keywords versus branded. And finally, choose a site that's ranking. Look at their anchor text. I love to look at anchor text, as you can probably imagine. It's one of the first things I look at. So finally, on-topic links that count, evaluate tiered links, not just tier 1. You've got to look at, some kind of tools that, tier 2, tier 3, so you can see any problems. 3-1 redirects, historic versus fresh, and anchor text. And did I mention anchor text? So, so recreate your link profiles of sites that are currently ranking, and that's all I have for today.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.